6:06 is the time. Today is not just an ordinary Monday. It's also the day the Pledge of Allegiance was officially recognized by the U.S. Congress, believe it or not, back in 1945. But does the pledge still reflect the same country now as it did then? We find out live now from KTRH's Joe Gomez.
Well, Roger, considered to be the highest tribute to the land of the free, the Pledge of Allegiance, originally published synonymously by a magazine in 1992, was meant to instill love of country in young people. And though it's no longer mandatory, it's still predominantly used in public schools to start off the day. Something that atheist activist Dr. Michael Newdow, who tried to get the Supreme Court to take out the under God part of the pledge, thinks the founding fathers would have frowned upon.
Yeah, they certainly would today if they lived today. I think it would be a heck of an insult to the memory of Thomas Jefferson and James Madison and George Washington.
He thinks just like the abolition of slavery in a changing country, our pledge and our laws should also change with it, Lena.
Thank you very much, Joe. Joining us live to talk more about this, atheist Joe Zamecki of Austin. Joe, thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
How do you think the founding fathers would react as we now look at and recognize the pledge on this anniversary? How do you think they would look on it now as to its use?
Well, I don't think they would like it. Just like Dr. Newdow said, it actually flies directly against the idea of liberty and justice for all. For the government to mandate not simply a pledge, because the Pledge of Allegiance itself, many people feel it goes over the line if you want your free society to pledge by a law. In fact, in 1954, a law was created by Congress that added under God to it. Now that made it even more nefarious to a lot of Americans. And it's true that it's not mandated that we have to say it right now anymore. But the fact that the government made it and then created a law respecting an establishment of religion by making a law that added under God to it, you see, and if you recognize the wording there, that comes from the Establishment Clause of the Federal Constitution, the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. And in 1954, they did exactly that in a fit of McCarthyist hysteria.
Well, Joe, is there anything really wrong with just taking a moment out of your day and remembering that you're an American and supporting your country and thinking about all the people who gave their lives to make sure that we were free? Is there anything really wrong with doing that in a pledge?
Well, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But with a pledge, really, you don't need to. Of course, there are a lot of people, including non-theists, who feel that the pledge is, like you feel, an important part of showing your patriotism. But when they put under God and us non-theists, really, it's insane to think that we're going to agree that the pledge is true when it says liberty and justice for all if we're told that we live under a God, and especially a God that no one can find and no one can produce. No one can bring any kind of evidence other than a weeping Mary statue or a rag in Turin. It doesn't matter to people who really want evidence that's verifiable. And because this God is important, we feel it's important anyway, we non-theists, important enough that we would say, where's this God? And if you can't find it, then it's not important. There's a war going on now over religion. And it just seems odd that we are living under a God. Well, it was people who started that religious war, like all religious wars. People started them and not a God. Yet we're told to have faith in a God. In the pledge that we're under a God. See, if it said under Allah or under Satan, I mean, that's a stretch. But think just for a moment. What if you were surrounded by people who believe differently and demanded, because the government said so, that you give a pledge of allegiance to their beliefs, and in only 2 words, that entire pledge is turned into a prayer.
Well, we appreciate your time this morning, and thank you for your viewpoint on this. That's atheist Joe Zamecki of Austin.
And philanthropist and patron of the arts.